Chris Geiger, and this is No Movies in Hell.
Hi, I'm LaQuan Scott.
Today's episode is Ghostbusters Afterlife,
Episode 11.
episode 11.
We are slowly not slowly. I mean, this is what it's literally been like maybe 2 months, a month and a half.
Yeah, I should look at the analytics to see like what is our average posting rate for these. And then we can decide whether we're happy with that or we're like, oh, we're overachievers.
I
Slow
honestly
down.
think that we're overachievers because, it's great.
In many ways, we're overachievers. Okay, so Ghostbusters Afterlife. I was looking forward to this movie. I really liked the Ghostbusters before it, even the ones that were more recent with Melissa McCarthy and
Yes.
like the all-female cast. Love
Kristen
those.
Wiig,
Yeah, and you can do so
Leslie
many
Jones.
things with this concept. In the trailers, I thought it was going to be more of a horror movie.
Yes.
And I was surprised at how many people were taking their children into the theater. I was like, oh, I don't, but then I have no sense of what's appropriate for children these days. I didn't end up giving this very high marks.
Oh, I did not see your scores.
I literally just put them in 5 minutes ago.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, I'm curious to see what Chris thought of this movie. So it'll be a surprise to me once you reveal.
Okay. So let's go ahead and share the rating screen.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Huh.
I know. I think this is the first. Is this the first one I rated below average?
I
It was
think
so
so.
disappointing. It was so disappointing. They could have done
Wow.
so many things with it. And it seemed like a movie that was made by committee where everything got watered down. We could make it a horror movie, but we're not gonna. We can make it a
Yeah, I
kids
don't
movie, but oh, we're not gonna. We can make it a comedy, but we're not. It's not.
kinda.
Yeah, like everything was sort of let's make it all things, and then it became this washed out sort of version of something that could have been really fun.
I really think that in the third act, the film took a very different turn, at least in the first two-thirds of the film, that it was pretty slow at the beginning. It picked up, and then somehow towards the latter part of the film, it just made a complete turn that made it a little cheesier, a little more watered down. And I do think that it was like the committee approach of like, okay, we need to get X, Y, and Z in here in order for it to have a connection with fans of the first film, instead of kind of carrying the torch. And so yeah, I did have a little bit of trepidation towards the end of the film. I was like, oh, that could have been a completely different, but I mean, I thought it was decent. I thought it was okay. I probably wouldn't watch it again, but I thought it was okay.
And I think the part of it that's so disappointing to me is that they got everyone to sign back on.
Yeah.
You could
But
have
they
done
got a lot of people to sign on to the Ghostbusters in 2016 too.
true, but I mean, you could have done so much with that cast.
Yeah.
And or you could have made it a completely new movie with the whole Goonies sort of approach to things. If you want to make it like a Stranger Things throwback, oh, okay. I could have gone either way and I would have been completely happy. But this seemed like we didn't go either way all the way. And
Agreed. To back up, the film's premise was a single mother of two teenage kids moves back to the Midwest. It seemingly, I was like, oh, in the first couple scenes, it looks like she lived in New York based off of the heating equipment that she had in her house. I was like, oh, they live in New York. Moves to the Midwest, I believe it's Oklahoma, where her father left an abandoned home. Seems like they're struggling to make things meet. Very precocious young girl. I felt like the son was underutilized. I think it was just very much carrying the weight from his previous work with, or I guess his current work with Stranger Things. But I was like, oh, he's literally like the stereotypical female character in some of these adventure films where it's like, oh, cute guy, let me just go off and try to impress the cute guy. Instead, it was Trevor character going off to try to impress the town's, cute hot girl. Whereas the daughter Phoebe is awkward, trying to feel out the new area, and she's in summer school. So like there are a lot of things that were just like, oh, she's going to school. Oh, and then it's summer school, and she meets a kid named Podcast. As soon as he introduced himself as Podcast, me and my husband started to crack up at each other. It was like, this is not real. This is very Gen Z. Oh my gosh, it was hilarious. But also like there were a couple of plot holes. If the mom, is the daughter of a Ghostbuster, then she would have been referenced actually in the other films as being like being young. And they just kind of like didn't really think about that and was just like, oh, he just took off and went to Midwest and didn't really want to deal with everybody else. He was just trying to like, save the world essentially, but not really articulate why or really get the buy-in from everybody else.
Right. I thought there were many issues with the plot, and I'm willing to forgive a lot of those if you can make it make sense enough. I love the Podcast kid. Like he was great. He had some of the best lines in the whole movie. Paul Rudd was great, very funny. Like whenever those two were on screen, I was in it. Yeah, the part where Spengler has a daughter, like that seemed that the timeline didn't work. Also, it seemed odd that almost none of the other family portion was explained. Like, where's her mother?
Yep.
Like, where is
their father?
Right. And she says, the father just didn't really engage with Phoebe.
Yeah.
So he's just gone then? Like, what? I don't.
Yeah. And also it was the weird tension between Phoebe and like the town's like sheriff. And I was just like, whoa, like that was a little much. Like maybe did she try to accost like her father at some point as a child or something? It made all these like really weird turns in trying to explain kind of her backstory, other than she's probably an awkward child, probably new word that I've learned, neurodivergent, instead of just in that she's very accepting and very special with regard accepting into more phantom than most, because I was like, okay, if something is moving, I would be like, I need to leave, and not necessarily engaging with the character.
Right. She even says to Podcast, I think in one scene, I don't believe in ghosts.
Yeah.
But then these things are happening to her, and then she just goes along with it. It seems too easy.
Yeah, just gonna play chess. Like
and I was so primed to like this movie when I went to see Julia at AMC Lincoln Square. They were doing the red carpet event for the premiere in New York right out front. So they were playing the music. People were in tuxedos walking around. The car was there. Oh, I'm going to see that next week. I'm so excited. So I was super primed to see it. And maybe that's part of the disappointment too, is movies that I want to be really good, when they're okay, makes it seem like they're not okay.
Yeah. I mean, I was wondering, like, why did they push this back? Is there something in the movie that they have to edit, or, maybe they're just trying to get more eyes on the film, which I think it is the latter. Like, since things are opening, they had to push it back, and they wanted to recoup the cost of production, which seemed like it's very practical effects, maybe lots of green screen and such. But yeah, I was like, okay, I hope that it's not, like it's reaching a broad audience. I didn't read any of the reviews going in. I just knew like, oh, I want to see this film. I want to see what the connection is. I thought, oh, it's okay. I have to say, I did like the hair, makeup, and jewelry of, spoiler alert, the character that comes back from the first film. I was like, I don't know if that's Alexander McQueen or Iris Van Herpen, but the like crystallized bodice, like bodysuit was stunning. I was like, this is amazing. This is a great cameo of an uncredited actress. I thought this was amazing and I would love to see more of her. But of course, it doesn't work out that way.
I agree. I thought her bodysuit was great. The thing that again, because I had high expectations for this, to me, the budget for this movie should have been spectacular. You
Yeah.
got everyone from the, original to sign back on. You've taken so much time to make this, right? You've been thinking about, they've been thinking about this for years,
Oh
and which
yeah, of
is
course.
how it got all watered down. Like, you could have done so much more, I feel like. Yeah, I just gave it a 2. And the soundtrack, love the throwback to the original theme song, but that was it.
Yeah, I think there might have been one or two songs in the trailer, or not the trailer, but like the end credits, but I wasn't really paying attention. Like, I think there was an after credit scene and we literally left during the credits.
There was an after credit scene because when the credits were rolling, it said with Sigourney Weaver. And I was like, I totally missed Sigourney Weaver in this.
Oh yeah, they had the mid-credit scene, yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, there was another scene.
there was.
Yeah, at the very, very end, like we had to actually look it up because we were like, did we miss anything? Yes. So the very, very end, I think they kind of explain where all the former Ghostbusters are in life. And there is one where I guess one of the characters, basically they go back to Manhattan and the original firehouse alert is set to critical, indicating that there might be a sequel.
Oh, we left, I guess, before the entire set of credits had run, but we stayed for most of that. I feel like we stayed for most of that. If there's another one, I'll go see it.
Same.
I'm not burnt out on the franchise at all. I just thought that this could have been better.
Yeah, I agree. And also like using people's likeness after they depart is interesting. I thought it would have been a little better if they didn't actually show his face and his body. I thought they were just going to do like hands and maybe chest, but trying to recreate and reimagine like what Egon would look like. I was just a little not disappointed, but I'm like, that could have been a better use of special effects.
Yeah. And I think part of that is maybe because they're expecting people who loved the ones in the 80s to bring their kids.
Mm-hmm.
Their kids don't have that background. So you gotta lay it out for them.
It's true. And it's interesting. We had a conversation prior to seeing the film because we saw it at Alamo, and beforehand they do like this whole trailer of like international Ghostbusters, but then also kind of like the history of Ghostbusters. So it was, me and Nate started talking. It's interesting because when we were young, we watched the cartoon and then we saw the second film because the first film came out, we were like babies. So the cartoon came first and then the second film, and then we went back and watched the first film at some point. So a lot of like Slimer was a friend of theirs in the cartoon and not necessarily in the movie. And some characters, their likeness actually wasn't used in the cartoon versus the actual movies. So there's a lot of interesting things there where, yeah, I guess there was a Ghostbusters that had nothing to do with actual, like the pop culture Ghostbusters that we know. So, but I digress. If there's another film, yes, I will watch it.
That's funny because I never watched the cartoon. I was of an age when the first one came out that I saw it in the theater.
Mm.
And so I skipped the cartoon and just went straight to the next, just watched the movies after that. So it's interesting that you have that perspective.
Yeah, it's like very different. It's like, yeah, trying to put the pieces together to figure out what is the stories or the two stories and how do they, oh, I guess back in the day, and like put it together. And now we got the third film, and then they kind of have this new one that is basically just an extension of the second one, completely skipping over Ghostbusters in 2016.
So Ghostbusters Afterlife, glad I saw it. Probably not going to see it again.
I guess, can we talk about a holiday preview?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So the next episode, or maybe we'll have like a special episode about the classic holiday films, new holiday films coming up, and maybe a special holiday POAP to collect.
That's very exciting.
Do you have anything to plug?
I will be posting some of our ratings numbers on Instagram going forward so that people can see, just if they don't want to listen to our entire YouTube about a particular movie, they can just go to Instagram and see what we've rated that movie just by the numbers. So I'll start posting those pretty soon. And I'm excited about our holiday episode. I did see that AMC had listed briefly, I don't see it anymore, but they had listed that they were going to show Love Actually in the theater.
Oh,
It's the date that was originally attached to it was November 19th, but November 19th came and went, and I didn't see anything further on it.
interesting.
So they're testing the waters. You're seeing a lot more, at least I'm seeing a lot more of promotions for older movies that they're bringing back. American Sniper, I think, is out right now on the big screen, which is okay, but also disappointing because there are movies that came out recently that didn't get very much screen time at all.
Because
Like,
of the pandemic.
yeah, I guess, but the pandemic. So, Prisoners of Ghost Town is
Okay.
the Nicolas Cage movie that came out, I think, in October, maybe
Okay.
late September, early October. It was out for 1 week at IFC, and then that's it. I missed
Gone.
it completely. By the time I found out about it, it was the last day it was showing and it was sold out. AMC has it listed as one of their movies, but it went straight to rental for
Interesting.
them. Yeah. So I don't know if they're going to show it, but why are we bringing back American Sniper?
Yeah.
We can't like see movies that are current. Yeah.
I don't know.
When
But
I
yeah,
run
I
AMC, it'll be different.
yeah, I do think that um like I think Nighthawk is bringing back Love Actually as well. And like Elf, well, Alamo's bringing back Elf um as part of like holiday series. So it'll be interesting to see like where you could watch what um classic, I guess, holiday films.
For holiday films, it makes sense. Totally. As a marketing thing, as a marketing campaign to get people back into the theaters. If you want to take a screen, show holiday movies, awesome. Just bringing back what seems to be random movies. Like,
Yeah. I
um,
don't know why.
it'd be fun if they showed Die Hard as a part of their holiday movie campaign.
Is that a holiday film?
It
Hmm.
is. We'll have
I
that.
agree. I do think that it's a holiday film. I get so much pushback when talking about Die Hard as a holiday film. So many people are like, it's not a holiday film. It just occurred during a holiday party.
But then what do they consider? Like, what are the requirements for it to be a holiday film?
There were no singing.
There was no singing. So, okay. Every
I
holiday
don't
film
know.
has
No, I am
yeah.
in complete agreement with you. It happens at a holiday party. It is. Does he wear a Santa hat at some point?
Yeah.
No.
Or I think he puts a Santa hat on one of the people that he kills. And there's a sign that says, ho, 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 now I have a gun, or something like that. It's been a long time since I've watched it, but
Yeah.
I think that's the most direct reference.
It's a holiday film.
Yes, maybe I'll do some more research before our holiday episode and include that in my list of favorite holiday films. And mostly it's just one of my favorites, probably because of the debate around it. Like one of the
Yeah. And then it forces you to like watch it again. And you're like, see, it's a holiday film.
or think about the parameters. What is my definition of holiday film? How are other people defining it? All right, everyone. Thanks so much for watching.
Thank you. Bye.